never imagined that my best friend's happiest day would be the day my entire life fell apart. My name is Erica, and what happened that Saturday night in September didn't just change my life. It changed the lives of everyone I loved, or thought I loved. The air was thick with the scent of roses and champagne, the kind of smell that's supposed to mean happily ever after. The sun dipped behind the Napa Hills, painting the sky in shades of peach and gold. Vineyards stretched to the horizon, as if nature itself had decided to be the backdrop for a perfect wedding. I stood in front of a mirror in the bride's house, adjusting my bridesmaid dress, a sleek navy gown Sophie had picked out months ago. In my hands, a bouquet of white peonies, and I was fighting back tears of emotion before the ceremony even began. "Erica, you ready?" Sophie's voice called from the next room. My best friend since college, the girl I'd shared every secret, tear, and dream with for the past 10 years. "Ready!" I shouted back, checking my makeup one last time. My heart raced with excitement. Today, Sophie was marrying Ethan, and I was her maid of honor. Beside me should have been Damien, my husband, Ethan's best man. We'd been married for 2 years, and it was us who introduced Sophie to Ethan. We were the inseparable foursome, double dates, group vacations, game nights at home, perfect friends, perfect couples. When Sophie appeared in her wedding dress, I caught my breath. She looked like a fairy tale princess. Lace gown with a flowing train, a veil that seemed to float behind her, and that radiant bride's smile that glows from within. "Sophie, you're stunning," I whispered, hugging her carefully to avoid wrinkling her dress. "I'm so nervous," she admitted, squeezing my hands. "What if I trip? What if I forget my vows?" "You won't trip. And if you forget your vows, just say you love him. That's enough." We both laughed, and for a moment I felt the same closeness that had bound us all these years. The ceremony took place in the estate's garden, among ancient oaks draped with garlands of white flowers. Guests sat on white chairs overlooking the vineyards. A string quartet played soft music. I walked down the aisle of rose petals, clutching my bouquet, and saw all those happy faces. Sophie's parents were teary-eyed. Ethan's grandma waved at me. And then I saw Damien. My husband looked devastatingly handsome in his charcoal suit. His chestnut hair was perfectly styled, and his face held the smile I fell in love with 5 years ago. When our eyes met, he winked, and my heart fluttered with love. We'd married in a small ceremony 2 years earlier. Nothing like this extravagance, but it was perfect for us. A simple dress, a small restaurant, our closest people. Damien had said, "I don't need a big wedding, I just need you." And now, here we were, helping our best friends create their own fairy tale. When the wedding music started, everyone stood. Sophie appeared with her father, and I saw Ethan's face transform. This tall, serious lawyer, always so composed, stood with his mouth open, tears in his eyes. "My God," he whispered, and I heard it standing nearby. The ceremony was flawless. They exchanged vows they'd written themselves, and there wasn't a dry eye in the crowd. When the officiant said, "You may kiss the bride," the guests erupted in applause. I caught Sophie's bouquet with my eyes over Ethan's shoulder and saw pure joy in her gaze. "We did it," she mouthed silently, and I nodded, tears of happiness streaming down my cheeks. The reception was held on the estate's terrace under a starry sky. Fairy lights twinkled everywhere. Tables were adorned with white roses and candles, and a band played jazz. It was magical. Astarte. The couple's first dance was to Etta James's "At Last." Sophie and Ethan moved like they were in a dream, eyes locked on each other. Then parents joined, followed by other guests. "Care to dance, Mrs. Collins?" Damien offered his hand with that playful, formal smile I adored. "With pleasure, Mr. Collins," I replied, accepting. We danced slowly, his hands on my waist, my head on his shoulder. He smelled of cologne and something comforting, like home. "Beautiful wedding," he said, stroking my back. "Gorgeous. Sophie's so happy. And you? Are you happy?" he asked, his voice tender. "Of course. I have you. Our friends. We have our whole lives ahead." He hugged me tighter, and I felt like the luckiest woman alive. We danced a few more songs, then I went to congratulate the newlyweds while Damien headed to the bar for drinks. "Erica," Sophie threw her arms around me. "Thank you for everything. You were the perfect maid of honor." "My pleasure. You look so happy." "I am. And you know what? You and Damien are next for kids." I laughed. "We're working on it." Ethan joined us, wrapping an arm around Sophie and kissing her head. "Thank you for bringing me to her," he told me. "Best gift I could have gotten." We chatted a bit longer, then I stepped away to let them enjoy their night. I scanned the room for Damien, but he was nowhere in sight. An hour passed, and Damien still hadn't returned. I asked a few guests if they'd seen him, but they just shrugged. The bartender said Damien had grabbed 2 glasses of champagne about half an hour ago but hadn't been back since. A strange unease crept into my chest. Damien wasn't the type to vanish without a word. We always told each other where we were going. I tried to shake off the bad thoughts. Maybe he was catching up with an old friend or stepped out for air. But the anxiety wouldn't leave me. I decided to look for him. I checked the entire venue, the balcony, the men's lounge. Nothing. "Have you seen Sophie?" Ethan's voice made me turn. "Isn't she with you?" "No, she said she was going to fix her makeup 20 minutes ago. But she hasn't come back. I'm getting worried." My heart skipped a beat. Damien's missing too. We locked eyes and I saw the same growing dread in his gaze. "They're probably just talking somewhere," he said uncertainly. But his voice betrayed doubt. I decided to check the parking lot. Maybe Damien had gone to the car for something. I slipped off my heels. Walking on gravel in them would be impossible, and headed to the lot. The night was warm, but a chill ran through me. Something was wrong. I felt it in my bones. Our car, a black BMW we'd bought last year, was parked in the far row. As I approached, I noticed the windows were slightly fogged and a faint light glowed inside. My heart pounded faster. I quickened my pace. And then I saw them dot through the back window. 2 figures, far too close, too close. I stepped nearer, praying it wasn't what I thought. But it was exactly that. Damien and Sophie, in our car, his hands in her hair, her dress hiked up, their lips locked in a passionate kiss. The world stopped. The distant sounds of the party faded to a dull hum. Blood roared in my ears, drowning everything else. I stood barefoot on the cold gravel, watching my entire life crumble. I don't remember walking to the car. I only recall my fist slamming against the driver's side window. What the hell is going on? They flew apart like they'd been shocked. Sophie's face was flushed with shame, her lipstick smeared. Damien looked like a deer in headlights, shocked, caught, guilty. I yanked the door handle. Thankfully, it wasn't locked. "Get out now!" "Erica, I can explain. Damien started, buttoning his shirt. "Explain? Explain what? How you're screwing my best friend in our car at her wedding?" Sophie fumbled with her dress, tears streaming down her face, smearing her makeup. "Erica, please, it's not what you think." "Not what I think." My voice broke. "I saw you devouring each other with my own eyes." Damien climbed out, trying to approach me. "Baby, calm down." "Don't call me baby. Don't touch me." I stepped back, trembling with rage and pain. How long has this been going on?" They were silent, avoiding my gaze. "I'm asking how long?" 3 months, Sophie whispered. The ground seemed to vanish beneath me. 3 months of Medosis, a quarter of a year. All that time while we planned the wedding, picked dresses, rehearsed. 3 months, I repeated, my voice eerily calm. The entire wedding planning. Damien tried to speak, but I raised a hand. "Shut up, just shut up." I turned to Sophie, my best friend, the one who knew all my secrets, who held me through every crisis, who was my sister in spirit. "This is your wedding," I said quietly. "Your day. And you chose to spend it screwing my husband. Erica, it just happened. We didn't plan it." "Shut up," I exploded again. "Don't you dare. Don't tell me it just happened. You don't accidentally pull up your dress in someone else's car." "What's going on?" Ethan's voice made us all turn. He was walking across the parking lot, clearly having heard the shouting. My heart ached for him. Poor Ethan. He had no idea what hell he was about to walk into. "Ethan—" Sophie started, but her voice failed her. He looked at us. Me, barefoot and furious, his wife in a crumpled wedding dress with smeared makeup, Damien, hair disheveled. I saw realization dawn on him slowly. Sophie? His voice was soft, but the pain was unmistakable. She couldn't answer. She just cried. Your wife is screwing my husband, I said bluntly. For 3 months. Ethan's face paled. He swayed as if physically struck. Is it true, he asked, looking at Sophie. She nodded, head down. For a few seconds, no one spoke. Only the distant music and laughter of oblivious guests filled the air. Ethan, I can explain? Sophie tried. Explain? His voice hardened. Explain how you cheated on me with my best friend while we planned our wedding. It wasn't planned. It just happened. Nothing just happens, Ethan roared. And for the first time in all the years I'd known him, I saw him truly angry. You made a choice. Every day for 3 months you chose lies and betrayal, Damien finally spoke. Bro, I know we messed up. Don't call me bro, Ethan spun on him. You were my best friend. I trusted you. I asked you to be my best man. Ethan, I'm sorry. Sorry? You think sorry fixes this? I watched the scene, feeling something cold and solid form in my chest. Rage was turning into resolve. You know what? I said, and they all turned to me. Enough, I'm done. I picked up my heels from the ground and started back toward the estate. Erica, where are you going? Sophie called. I turned. To tell everyone the truth. No! Sophie ran after me. Please don't. Think of the guests, our families. I was thinking of our families when you were screwing my husband. Erica, please. I stopped and looked into her eyes. You know what hurts the most? Not that you slept with Damien. It's that you looked me in the eye for months and lied. You helped me pick your bridesmaid dress, laughed at my jokes, hugged me, told me you loved me, all while, I do love you. You're my best friend. Best friends don't do this. Damien tried to step between us. Erica, let's talk at home. Don't make a scene. I looked at the man I'd loved for 5 years, married, planned a future with. Home? I echoed. We don't have a home anymore, Damien. I walked into the reception hall. The band played a lively tune. People danced, laughed, celebrated love. The irony. I approached the microphone the MC had been using. Excuse me, I said, and the music stopped. All eyes turned to me. My heart pounded. But a strange calm settled over me, like I was finally doing something right. I know this is unusual, but I need to say something. The room went silent. I saw Sophie's parents, Ethan's grandma, our mutual friends, all watching with curiosity and slight concern. Today was supposed to be a celebration of love and loyalty, but I just found, Erica, don't. Sophie appeared in the doorway, her face red with tears. But I couldn't stop. I just caught the bride and my husband, the best man, in our car. They've been cheating on their partners for 3 months. The sound from the guests was hard to describe, a mix of collective gasps and groans of horror. So this beautiful celebration of love is built on lies and betrayal. Enjoy your evening. I set the microphone back in its stand and walked out, not looking back. Behind me, chaos erupted, shouts, cries, outraged voices. I reached the parking lot and realized Damien had the car keys. Going back into that hell was not an option. I ordered a taxi and sat on a bench by the estate's entrance, waiting. A few minutes later, Ethan approached. He looked broken, tie undone, shirt wrinkled, eyes red. You were right, he said quietly, sitting beside me. I'm sorry. No, you're not. You were right to tell everyone. They deserved it. We sat in silence for a few minutes. What are you going to do? I asked. Filing for divorce tomorrow. You? Same. My phone rang. Damien. I declined the call. Another ring. Sophie declined. They'll keep calling, Ethan said. Let them. I have nothing to say. The taxi arrived just in time. Need a ride? I offered. No thanks. My dad's picking me up. I hugged him. A hug between two people whose lives had just shattered. Stay strong, I whispered. You too. The weeks that followed were a blur of pain, lawyers, and tough decisions. Damien tried to contact me countless times. He showed up at the house we shared, left letters, flowers, desperate messages. I didn't respond to a single one. Sophie was more persistent. She appeared at my workplace, my parents' house, my sister's, always with the same plea, "Please give me a chance to explain. Our friendship means everything to me." Eventually, I agreed to meet her, not because I wanted to forgive her, but because I needed to close this chapter for good. We met at a small downtown cafe. Sophie looked awful. Thinner, dark circles under her eyes, her hair dull. "Thank you for coming," she began. "Speak," I said curtly. "I know what I did is unforgivable." "Then why am I here?" "Because I love you. You're like a sister to me." I laughed, but there was no joy in it. Sisters don't sleep with each other's husbands. It started by accident. Ethan and I were going through a rough patch, and you and Damien, he said you were thinking about divorce. Rage surged in me again. We weren't thinking about divorce. We were stressed at work, but we were working on our marriage. And even if we were, that doesn't give you the right. I know I was wrong. Wrong, Sophie, you destroyed 2 marriages. You lied to your husband on your wedding day. You betrayed your best friend. People in the cafe started turning, but I didn't care. But the worst part, you made me feel like a fool. All those months I confided in you about my doubts, about Damien being distant. You knew why, and you said nothing, Sophie sobbed. "I'm sorry, please forgive me," I stood. "Some things can't be forgiven, Sophie. What you did is one of them." That was our last meeting, 2 years later. I'm sitting in my new apartment, bright, full of light, with a view of the park. My paintings hang on the walls. Yes, I picked up a brush again after a decade-long break. On the coffee table lies a fresh magazine with my article. I'm now a freelance journalist, writing about women's rights and self-discovery. The divorce from Damien was quick and painless legally. Emotionally, it was torture. But I survived. Ethan and I talk occasionally. He moved to another city, started over. We've both learned lessons and moved on. Damien married Sophie last fall. I heard it from mutual friends. Strangely, it didn't hurt. It only confirmed I'd made the right choice. Most of our mutual friends picked sides. Some stayed with me, some with them. A few tried to stay neutral, but that proved impossible. Today I met someone new. His name is Alex, a doctor at the local hospital. We met in a bookstore, both reaching for the same book on trauma psychology. He smiled and said, "Looks like we're both trying to understand the human soul." Something in his eyes felt familiar, not physically, but emotionally, like he'd been through something heavy and come out stronger. We grabbed coffee at a nearby cafe, and for the first time in 2 years, I felt at ease with a man. Not the weight of memories, not the fear of betrayal, just human warmth. Alex shared that he lost his wife in a car accident 3 years ago. "I thought I'd never trust life again," he said. "But then I realized life goes on, not despite tragedies, but because of our ability to find meaning in pain. We didn't talk about the future or make plans. We just enjoyed the moment. And you know what? It was wonderful." A few months passed since that first coffee with Alex. We saw each other sparingly. He worked in trauma, and I traveled for magazine assignments. But each meeting was like a breath of fresh air. Today, something happened I dreaded most. I was at the supermarket picking up ingredients for a dinner with Alex. We were planning to cook at my place. And there, by the dairy aisle, I saw her. Sophie stood with her back to me, studying yogurts. She was pregnant, very pregnant, at least 7 months along. My heart stopped for a second, then pounded so hard I thought everyone could hear it. I could have left, turned and walked away, like I had the few times I'd spotted her from a distance over the past 2 years. But something held me in place. Maybe curiosity. Maybe the need to close this chapter for good. "Sophie," I called. She turned and her face paled. Even pregnant, with her face changed by it, she was still beautiful. But something in her eyes was different. Not the carefree confidence I remembered. "Erica," she whispered. Hi. We stood facing each other, 2 women who were once inseparable, now strangers. "Congratulations," I said, nodding at her belly. "Thanks, it's a boy." Damien's thrilled. I braced for the pain of hearing his name, but nothing came, just a faint regret for wasted time. "That's good." An awkward silence hung between us. "Erica, she began. "Don't," I cut her off. "Really, don't. but I want to say, Sophie, we both know what you want to say, and we both know it won't change what happened. She nodded, tears glistening in her eyes. You look happy, she said, glancing at the ring on my finger. I looked at the simple silver ring Alex gave me last week. Not an engagement ring. Too soon for that. Just a token of care. Yes, I said. I am happy. And it was the truth, Dot. After meeting Sophie, I sat in my car in the supermarket parking lot, processing my feelings, Dot, surprisingly calm. I didn't feel pain or anger, just freedom. Like the last thread tying me to the past had finally snapped. Dot, seeing her pregnant. Happy with Damien, I realized. They made their choice, and I made mine, Dot. When Alex came over that evening, he noticed my mood right away. What happened? He asked, wrapping his arms around me. I told him about the encounter. He listened quietly, stroking my hair. How do you feel? He asked. Free, I said, surprised by the honesty of it. Truly free for the first time in 2 years. He kissed the top of my head. That's good. It means you're ready to live again. That night, we talked about the future for the first time, about what could be between us, about kids, a life together, building something new on the ruins of the old. I can't promise it'll be easy, Alex said. We both have baggage. But we both know the value of honesty, I replied. I'm writing this in our country house, which Alex and I bought last year. Outside, our kids play. 3-year-old Anna and 1.5-year-old Max. Yes, we got married. A simple ceremony, just our closest people. No extravagance, no show, just love and honesty. Sometimes, I think back to that day when my world collapsed. The wedding that ended one story and began another. And you know what? I'm grateful, Dot. Grateful for the pain that taught me to cherish the present. For the betrayal that showed me what true loyalty is. For the destruction that made space for something better. Damien and Sophie are still together. I hear about them from mutual friends. They have 2 kids. He started his own law firm. She works at a design studio. They seem happy. And I'm happy for them. Genuinely, Dot. Because their happiness no longer has anything to do with mine. Ethan's doing well too. He married a wonderful woman named Elena, and they have a daughter. Alex and I visited them last summer. It was lovely, Dot and me. I've learned to live again, to trust, to love, to build, Dot. To be happy not despite my past, but because of the lessons it taught me. My story began as a tragedy, but it ended in triumph, Dot. The triumph of the human spirit's ability to rise after falling, to love after betrayal, to trust after deceit, and that, I think, is the most important story anyone can tell.